in my early teens, I was a kid who just always had a big vision, and 16, 17 years of age, that vision got a little bit more clear, a little bit more defined. When I thought I was supposed to run for office, called to run for office, political office. So, by the time I'm 16, I'm feeling like I know pretty much what I want to do with my life. And so I was tremendously aggressive in going after that and had some success early on. I'll spare you the bio and the timeline, but by the age of 22, I was running 3 congressional districts on a statewide gubernatorial race. In Virginia, we won. And I'm 23 years old working for the governor of Virginia and had a big office and wearing suits every day and thought I was living the dream. And it was in that time that I realized that the zeal for public service did not include working in public office as a staffer. Essentially, being a part of the bureaucratic machine. So I began to wrestle there and say, okay, I think it's time for me to get out of the elected side of politics and go get a business job, begin to build a real life resume that would include leadership so that when I run for office years down the road, not knowing exactly when that is, that I would have this real resume, not be this political insider. So that was the plan. And so I pursued that. And it was in that season that I began to lose the juice, the passion for working in politics. That led to some real confusion and misery, and then self-discovery to figure out, wait a second, what's changed? Why did it change? What does it mean now? How do I figure out the new mountain? And so that process that I just walked through on my own, I didn't come up with what I teach now on the show, but everything I teach now is informed by my own journey. So for me, it was always a guy who was wanting to be on purpose. When I wasn't on purpose, I was really miserable, and I didn't like being miserable, so I figured it out.
Yeah, that confusion, I feel like, is what everyone feels at some point in their career, because you come out of college, you come out of high school, whatever, and you hop into whatever's available to you, and whatever you're going to make some money doing, pay off student loans, whatever you have to do. But everyone feels that confusion. And Ken, I know you talk a lot about finding your sweet spot. And I do want to talk about your new book, The Proximity Principle, as well. But Ken, what is the sweet spot for people in their career? How do they find it?
Yeah, the sweet spot is where you use what you do best to do work you love, to produce results that matter deeply to you. So there are 3 elements, 3 gifts that I just mentioned in that sentence. Number 1, talent. So I said, use what you do best. That's your talent. So your hard skills, your soft skills. To do work you love. That's how I define passion. That's high emotion, high devotion to the work itself. And then to produce or to create results that matter deeply to you. That's mission. So that's my mission. So when I use what I do best, talent, to do work I love, passion, to produce results that matter to me, mission, I'm in my sweet spot. And the reason I use the analogy for that is because all 3 of those are working together, coming together, and producing maximum impact. The sweet spot analogy is used in sports, whether that be a baseball hitting a baseball bat, a tennis ball hitting a tennis racket, a puck hitting a hockey stick, a golf ball hitting a golf club. When the ball is struck by the sweet spot of the bat, it feels effortless. Anybody who's ever done it, you don't hardly even feel the contact. And then you get the maximum result. So let's translate that to us. When we are living and operating and working in our sweet spot, others look at us and they say, oh my gosh, they were born for this. They're a natural, because it looks effortless to them. We know that there's a lot of effort put into it.
Right.
But it looks effortless to the bystander. And then they see maximum performance. And so that's where the analogy of the sweet spot comes in.
Yeah, that's so good. And it's so easy to fall into the trap of the everyday work. I'm never going to enjoy what I do. So I think that's an important message that gets preached, because people just fall into this trap of, well, I got to make money. I got to do this the rest of my life. even if I hate it, even if I'm miserable. And Ken, it sounds like early on in your career, you hit that spot and ended up finding your sweet spot. What were some of the battles that you faced when you had to jump to something new?
Well, they were the three enemies that I talk about every day on the Ken Coleman Show: fear, doubt, and pride. So fear and doubt are not the same thing. They can feed each other. Okay. They're I like to call them ugly cousins. You know, they like to hang out one on one shoulder, one on the other, and they just spread their vitriol and their lies. But fear, absolutely fear of rejection, because I got rejected a lot. Fear of what other people are going to say, which turns into a little bit of pride, right? Pride in the sense I didn't want to ask for help. Pride, I didn't want to admit that I was, making a major move that I couldn't do on my own. So I tried to do it on my own for a while, with no help, no connections, and things of that nature. Doubt, is it too late? Did I get started too late? Do I have the actual talent to succeed? So those were the enemies that we all face. They just come at us in different voices and different little statements, but fear, doubt, and pride were absolutely huge enemies of my progress.
Yeah, those are the three that I feel like everybody hears starting something new. For me, it was starting this, and you tell yourself, well, I'm scared of posting something. I'm scared of people seeing this. I'm scared if I'm not good enough. That's the doubt. And so everyone hears that, but what did you find pushing through that discomfort and those fears? What did you find on the other side of it?
Well, you see resilience, as you keep pushing through it, whether it be just one day of slogging through some have to do's, so that you can get to the get to do's. Right. Resilience for sure. Another way of saying that is grit. You see grit on the other side of that, and that grit muscle grows. Momentum. When you begin to stack some small wins together, it feels pretty good, and we go, okay, I'm making some headway here. Confidence. There's so many things on the other side of that. I could go on and on and on, but those are three biggies.
Yeah. Well, Ken, I want to hit on your new book, The Proximity Principle. I see it there behind you as well. I read this a few months back, and I found so much value in it, in searching for what I want to do and landing in a job that I want and in a career that I want. So Ken, for the people that don't know, can you explain what the proximity principle is? Because it is a different strategy than what a lot of career experts are talking about.
Yeah, the proximity principle says in order to do what you want to do, you've got to be around people that are doing it and in places where it is happening. So the idea here is you pick the career path, or at least certainly a sector of work that you're interested in. You got to get around people that are successful in that area. That's what I mean by get around people that are doing it, the work or in the field that you're interested in. Get around people that are successful and also very, very satisfied with the work. Because when we're around those people, we get the opportunity to learn about the actual work itself, what's involved day in, day out, what it takes to get there. So much knowledge and wisdom. And that's really important. Then the third thing beyond knowledge and wisdom, because remember, knowledge, when I say this, knowledge are the facts. Here's how I get there, or here's how you could get there. Here's what qualifications you need. Here's what the day-to-day looks like. Here's what entry level looks like. That's knowledge. Those are facts. Wisdom is that person's experience on the journey. So knowledge and wisdom are the two first things that you get by being in proximity to people, the people that are doing it. And then the third thing is they connect you. So when you're around the right people that are doing it, they're going to connect you to other people that are doing it. And they're going to point you to places where you can observe and meet more people. So that's the beauty of the proximity principle. The right people introduce me to more of the right people and put me in the right places where I meet more right people and I learn about more right places. So the formula, if you were to break down the principle itself, is the right people plus the right places equals opportunity. The right people plus the right places equals opportunity. So what that means, folks, is if you're somebody who's going, man, I just can't catch a break. I can't get an opportunity. I can tell you this, you're not around the right people enough. You're not in the right places enough. When I am in the right place, the right time will happen. It's the metaphor of if I need to catch a train and I don't have the schedule on my phone, what do? If I can't get access online to the train schedule in Nashville, but I got to catch a train today, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the train station.
Yeah.
That's the right place.
Right.
I know that if I go to the train station, that a train is coming and I'll get on a train. And so that's what people miss sometimes. They feel stuck and they can't catch an opportunity. Well, if you're not around the right people and in the right places, the right time can't happen. It cannot happen and it will not happen. This I can guarantee you.
Wow.
But the flip side of that is if I'm in the right place and I'm around the right people, then there's going to come a day where somebody knocks on my door. This idea of kick the door down. Well, yeah, it works sometimes, but very rarely. That's more of a romantic motivational speaker, bunch of gibberish. The reality is that the really, really successful people rarely had to break a door down. Most of the time, somebody tapped them on the shoulder and said, hey, come over here. Let me show you a door I think you need to walk through. That's what I found.
Man, that's so good. What do you say, Ken? Because I know you get a lot of these calls on your show that say, Ken, I agree with you on the proximity principle and I want to do it, but I just don't know anybody. What do you say to those people that claim to not have any connections and are scared to reach out?
Yeah, I try to gently tell them you're wrong. You know plenty of people.
Yeah,
because you do. And here's how this plays out on the show. It's almost always the same conversation. Ken, I don't know enough people, and so I'll let them finish their sentence, and I'm trying not to swat them. I want to be kind and loving, so I'll say, all right, how many people do you actually know? And I won't let them answer right away. I'll say, okay, I'm talking close, personal friends and family. That's your really tight network. Then let's go out a layer. Okay, so then let's look at acquaintances. People that you see at your kids' sporting events or at school, or if you do church or social groups. These are acquaintances. If you saw them at the grocery store, they're not going to ignore you. They know you. They'll stop and be friendly. So that's your next layer of acquaintances. And then let's think about social media, which it's still an acquaintance, but it's more of a digital acquaintance.
Right.
And so maybe it's, all these people from college you still keep in touch with. And let's say you have, 400 friends on Facebook. Well, you said you didn't know anybody, but the reality is you got 400 friends on Facebook. So we've blown that up.
Sure.
And so what we realize is if we take the social media connections and let's lower it for somebody here who's really cynical that's listening to this. If you have 200 friends on Facebook and 100 of them are people that are in your town that you would say, okay, so we only have 100 digital acquaintances and I got 100 real acquaintances. Well, how many people do those 100 people know? Here's what everybody said. The answer is we really never know. But somebody will always say, well, probably at least 100 or two. Oh, so if we take the 100 people that you know and each of them knows 100 to 200 people, how many people do you have access to? And the answer is thousands, if not tens of thousands.
Right.
But it is a function of communicating boldly, letting people know what you're looking for, what you're going for, and keep pounding the drum. Just keep banging the drum. And eventually, somebody's going to hear that drum beat, the right person, and now we get a connection. So that's what I say. You do know enough people. You know plenty of people. You know all the people you actually need to know. Now, I'm all for continuing to connect, but this idea that I'm limited by my meager database is a bunch of garbage. It's not true.
Yeah, and Ken, for the people that are reaching out and say, getting connected with maybe people that they're close with, they're in their circle, they're in their 100 people. When they sit down and grab coffee and connect with them, what should they be looking for? What should they be asking and trying to get out of that conversation?
Well, you want to be a student. The posture, the mindset of you in a meeting like this is one of a student. I'm grateful that you're giving me your time. You can teach me something, and I'm grateful to sit here and I'm ready to learn. And so it's not, what can you do for me? I need I need you to do this, this, and this for me. That's the wrong way to go about it. It's, here's what I'm looking to do. I want to get your insight. That's the knowledge piece. I need some knowledge on these questions. And I also want your wisdom. Apply your experience to these to this knowledge. And if you're willing, if there's some other people you think I need to reach out to, let me know. It's an active, I'm not asking you to do something for me. I'm asking you to guide me, help me, inform me, connect me. People like to do that. And a lot of times people go, well, I feel bad. I can't really do anything for them. And even though you say that, Ken, I understand that, but it still feels like I'm asking them to help me. Yeah, you are. But what you're misunderstanding is that when we make someone feel valuable, which that does when you do it the way I described, then we are providing value to them. They feel good about themselves. Who doesn't like to give their opinion when somebody positions it, hey, I respect you, I want to be where you're at, or whatever, and I want to pick your brain. Everybody feels good about that.
Right. No one's going to kick you out of the room for saying that stuff, right? They're not going to say, get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, there are a few people that can be real jerks and not give you the time of day. But again, that's not a loss.
Right.
That's going to be a minority response.
Right. And I would guess if someone does respond that way, maybe that's not the right person to be connected with at the same time.
Well, it's not the right person.
Right.
No, they've got all kinds of junk going on in their own life. They don't, they can't give anything to you.
Right.
They can't add value to you. They don't want to add value to you. They got other stuff going on, and that's fine. Big deal.
Yeah. You got more people to connect with. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ken, what do you say to people who are in their role for now 10, 15 years? Maybe they're in their, 40s now, and they've been kind of doing a job that they are not passionate about. They haven't found their sweet spot. Is it too late for that person? Or what do you say to people that, do you just say, hey, finish off your career and call it quits? Or do you say, no, you got to find your sweet spot because you have a role to fill?
Of course. Yeah. I'll tell them what I tell our listeners as I start the show every day. You were created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it. It's not an option. It's an obligation. It's a duty. And I would point them to my 7 stages to meaningful work. All right. So we got to start with get clear, stage 1. You might be clear, but let's go. Let's look at stage 1, which is get clear. And that's where we walk through the sweet spot and we find out what's your sweet spot. And inside that sweet spot, by the way, are multiple dream jobs, which means there are multiple career paths. And of course, a lot of jobs that will essentially be jobs that walk you up the ladder. So, let's figure it out. Get clear. That's stage 1. If you're clear, if we find that you're clear, that you've always had this vision, you just didn't go for it for a myriad of reasons, we go, okay, great. Let's look at stage 2. Are you qualified? If you're not qualified, you got to get qualified. So that's pretty simple. What do I need to learn? That could be traditional education or some type of certification, but it's what do I need to learn? Then experience, what I need to do. How much is that going to cost me, time and money? And then how long is that going to take? Those are your 4 questions. The education question, the experience question, the economic question, and the expectation question. Okay, great. We got a plan. We plugged in the answers. We go, okay, this is what I got to do. Now I can see it's not so scary because it's not so unknown. And so we start the process of getting qualified. While we're getting qualified, that's where the proximity principle now comes into stage 3. And you can be in stage 2 and stage 3 at the same time. So we got to get connected. And we're getting connected. And I already taught on that a few minutes ago. So that's how we get opportunities. And when the opportunity that we want, the right opportunity comes along, boom, we take it. We get started. All right. So we start a new job or start a new career path. And as we get in, and now we're looking to get promoted. And that's stage 5. And then stage 6 is after we get promoted and get promoted and get promoted and get promoted and get promoted, we step into the dream job. And then when we're in the dream job, we've been going up the whole time. We've been looking up towards that professional pinnacle like Mount Everest. And just as Sir Edmund Hillary, the first man who scaled Mount Everest does, he gets to the top and, he surveys the view and now he's looking out. And and he sees another mountain range, and he said to his climbing partner, I'm going to climb that range next.
Wow.
And so we expand the dream once we're in the dream job. So those are the 7 stages. So to that person, I go, where are you in the 7 stages? Find your stage, complete the stage, keep moving, and you'll be surprised that it's not too late and that you can get there.
That's so good, Ken. Thank you for sharing that. To finish off here, I just got some fun kind of lifestyle questions for you that I ask everybody.
Okay, here we go.
And the first one is, do you have a morning routine? And if so, what does it look like?
Yeah, I get up every morning, and I have a glorious, probably 8-9-year-old Restoration Hardware robe that's like wearing a quilt. And I throw my robe on. I go get a cup of coffee because I've preset my coffee, so it's waiting on me, and a cup of coffee. And then I get in the Bible and I read the Bible, and I do a devotion based on the reading. And then I have quiet time where I pray, and then I reflect and just go through an exercise of gratitude. And then I wake the kids up and get them going. And then I quick bite to eat and get ready for the day. I drop my kids off at school. I really value that time in the morning with them. So that's my routine.
I love it. So you mentioned
super
you do
exciting, isn't it? What a scintillating life I live, Will. So, as I repeat it back, I go, gee whiz, I sure am boring. But you know what? That routine works for me, man. It's a good routine.
And I bet you've seen a lot of fruit from that over the consistency that you've built that habit too. So I love it.
Yeah, I think it's really important that the first thoughts you have in the morning are good thoughts.
Yeah, I think so too. I like the
good feelings.
I've had a couple, I think I had John Deloney on here as well. And I think he said he did a gratitude journal. And I journal, but I don't do a gratitude journal. So Ken, when you do your journal and you're writing things you're grateful for, what does that look like? Is it just a few things in the morning that you just jot down that you're thankful for? Or what does that look
I would call them big rocks and little rocks, the big things that I'm thankful for that just never change. It's every morning in my life, I'm going to be thankful for these big things. My faith, my wife, my kids, a lot of things. But then the little things that pop up, just maybe something great happened yesterday, and so I'm grateful for this. And, so I would call them big rocks and little rocks. It's just whatever in the moment I'm present with. Yeah.
And I bet that helps you just, continue to be grateful throughout your day. A lot of things try to pull at your attitude throughout the day.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Have you had any mentors, Ken, in your life? And if so, what is one of the pieces of advice that you've taken from them that has impacted you to this day?
I've had many mentors, but I've really close relationships with about 4 or 5 guys that have been that role for me. So much advice. So much. I mean, I've got thoughts right now that are just flooding my head. I think the theme that pops up that just hit me about 2 or 3 times right away was just the value of patience. I think that patience is the most underrated superpower in the world. And I don't, I think as parents, sometimes we'll teach our kids to be patient, but it's usually when they want something right now. But as we get older and stuff, I don't hear a lot of teaching and a lot of guidance and a lot of, banging the drum for patience and how absolutely vital it is, because we make perseverance, go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. We glorify that so much that what we forget to tell people and again, I'm talking about me in the content provider world. If we preach perseverance all the time, but we don't teach patience, it's a hollow teaching. Because I don't think you can just get up every day and persist or persevere. I just don't think you can. You can for a while, but then you run out of juice.
You're right.
And the reason you run out of juice is because you don't have the discipline and the skill of patience to understand that I get where I want to go with the combination, left foot, right foot. Persist, be patient. Persist, be patient. Persist, be patient.
That's awesome, Ken. Where can people find you on social media? Where can they find your new book, The Proximity Principle?
Yeah, at Ken Coleman on Instagram. You can search the Ken Coleman Show on Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn. Just search Ken Coleman. And kencoleman.com is the website for a ton of free and paid resources. There you can get the book, The Proximity Principle, in 3 formats, all 3 formats. Hard copy, audio, and the ebook, all for one price of $25. That's a pretty crazy deal. So you get 3 formats, $25. Can't get that anywhere else, but you can get the book wherever books are sold.